Hello, and welcome back to the BP podcast. Happy New Year. Today's actually Chinese New Year. We'll go with starting then rather than our official January 1st New Year. Um, and yeah, I wanted to firstly, again, apologize for the lapse in podcasts, but reason being, since Christmas Eve, had this kind of viral thing and it has triggered a cough. I don't know if this is like a UK thing, but definitely in the northeast of Scotland, there's been so many people have had this virus and it has gone on and on and on and on and on. So yeah, here I am back. I've got my honey beside me, honey, hot water, and apple cider vinegar. So if I start coughing, I can take a little sip. So as you will see, if you're watching this on YouTube, as opposed to listening to the pod, I'm here in my PJs. It's Saturday morning. And yeah, I've been meaning to record this podcast for so long. And as I said, the voice and then trying to get a quiet spot to do it, it just hasn't happened. But today I wanted to share something really valuable with you that I think is a great thing to start the year with. And just to kind of raise your awareness about rest. And I know it's something that many of us can struggle with. I know certainly I was not brought up to value rest. Rest was valued as lazy, get off your bum and go and do something. And I did have a very active life. I had horses when I was younger. I worked pretty much from as soon as I could. And that was kind of how I grew up. And although I taught meditation and mindfulness and or teach meditation and mindfulness and coach people with anxiety, stress, I've always led a really, really, really full life. But I've enjoyed that. Like people have always said to me, Susie, how can you fit all that stuff in? How do you manage to do that? And I just love it. So I've got lots of animals that require me to be on the go all the time. Obviously I had my business, my daughter, various things. And rest to me was really important, but never so important as it has been for the past year. And I want to chat through 7 different types of rest because not all rest is the same. 7 different types of rest that you can use to support yourself, to prevent yourself from experiencing burnout. Now, I did do some posts on social media on this, and it was really quite a talked about subject that a lot of people struggled with. And one lady had mentioned that, yes, she had experienced burnout last year and she had become aware of these 7 types of rest and now uses this to support herself. And excuse me, yesterday I was out in the fields poo picking. You probably hear me speak about this all the time, but it's because it's like a daily thing. But I was out in the field poo picking, and as I was doing that, it's a really physical act because the barrow gets really heavy, you're walking around, it was really cold yesterday. But I was thinking this is actually really restful for me because it allows your mind just to switch off. You're outside in nature. So there's different types of rest. So if you think, oh, well, I don't like to rest, I can't sit still. Listen up, pay attention, because there's definitely going to be something here that you can take away and implement into your life and is actually necessary to implement into your life. So what I discovered over Christmas and New Year was that actually I found this really deep love of rest. I didn't realize how much my mind was craving that switch off. I had every intention of doing some work for a client I'm working for just now. During that period, I had some things that I wanted to do for Be Free within that period. And what actually happened was my brain was just like, nope. My brain switched off, and I just loved to be that present, being present with family over Christmas and New Year. There was so many different things going on, and my daughter was off school, and it was just so nice for those times in between doing things to just actually really switch off, to sit on the sofa with a book, to just simply gaze out the window, to daydream. And I found that so nourishing. And I've never truly, I mean, I've had pockets like that, but I mean, that was like a whole 2 week period. I was like, wow, this is really, really interesting. Just being so mindful, so present, and gifting myself the opportunity for my brain to switch off. So I want you to have a think about what your relationship with rest is like, just pausing, thinking, do you struggle to rest? Do you struggle to slow down? Do you consider rest as lazy? Is that what you've been socially conditioned to think? And nowadays we're on the go 365 days a year. We're constantly bombarded digitally. People can connect with us anytime, day or night. And, as human beings, we were born to work with the rhythms of nature. Yeah. The lightness and the dark. And now we're still working when it's dark and getting up when it's dark and seeing very little light. And, it's really confusing to our body, to the rhythms of our body, for us to operate in this way. And, the same in kind of, working with the cycles of nature is something that I'm really, really consciously doing, and almost feel like I was forced a little bit to do during this period of, we're going to call it transition. We're not calling it ill health anymore. During this period of transition and transformation, to work with the cycles of nature more, to honor those, and winter is a time of rest and hibernation and reflection and connecting in and being cozy with your family and being less active and being okay with that. I think the difficulty arises when we try to do the same things in summer as same things in winter as we do in summer, staying up late, hammering at the gym, doing all that. It just doesn't work. The days are shorter and darker. They're inviting us to go inwards. So, having a little think about that. So 7 types of rest. Sleep, obviously, is a necessity. And I thought, just kind of mention that. I've had so many clients over the years who are like, oh, I only need 5 hours sleep, or I only need such and such. No. 7 to 8 hours sleep really, really, really is what your body needs. Your body's maybe got into the habit of sleeping less, but that doesn't mean to say that that's not what you need. So sleep really, really is a critical one. And as I was kind of fighting off this little viral thing. At some points I was sleeping like 9 hours. It just shows you how our body works to really repair itself during those times. So honor what your body needs. Really, as we go through these 7 different types of rest, just check in with yourself and think, oh, actually, yeah, I need that. So listen to your body, listen to your mind. Okay, 7 types of rest. Physical rest, and I'm going to go into these more deeply, what they mean. Physical rest, mental rest, social rest, spiritual rest, sensory rest, emotional rest, and creative rest. Now, without fully being aware of these 7 types of rest, in the last year, I really have embraced all of them, and they have become really critically important in me leading this life of balance, a life that feels joyful again, a life that feels intentional again. So I just want to run through them. So physical rest can be things such as sleep. Okay, so making sure that you are getting enough sleep. It could also be things such as yoga, really nice, gentle things, releasing the stress in your muscles. And, just taking time maybe for a little nap if you feel that you need that and that works for you. But really just slowing down things for the physical body, listening to your body. When if you do have anxiety or struggling with stress or struggling with burnout, sometimes the worst thing you can be doing is pushing your body really hard at the gym. You're putting so much pressure on an already stressed body. So you want to kind of pare that back, maybe gentle walking, stretching, those kind of things, to allow your body to release the built up stress, but allow your body to move into a nice restful state. So things like yoga nidra are lovely, or yin yoga. just things that are going to allow you to switch off physically, but, just allow yourself into that rest state. Okay, mental rest. So that's what I was saying about yesterday. So for me, the poo picking really is a mental rest. So our brains are switched on pretty much all the time. Your work can probably contact you any time of day or night into your email box. You probably receive messages. If you're on social media, then you probably, picking up stuff there or watching the news. And, mentally, we are in such a higher state of stress than we probably have ever been, and such a higher state of mental activity than we have ever been. So it's important to allow your brain to process everything that's going on, give it opportunities to switch off. And you can do this, again, simply, as I said, like it could be going for a walk. I mean, maybe that's how you switch off mentally. But bringing in things such as mindfulness into your daily life can be really, 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 really helpful. For me, if I'm feeling mentally overwhelmed, I compartmentalize my life very much. And to me, that's how I live mindfully as well. If I'm working on a certain thing, I'll do it on a certain day if I can. And I'll use my do not disturb when I'm doing certain things, because mentally, as I have been in this healing process and recovered and going through this transformation, I don't have the capacity to have all these things going on. And I have to say to my husband, for example, right now I'm working on this, and I'll speak to you at the moment. And I used to do this with the kids when they were younger, when I was feeling overwhelmed. Mum's doing this right now, Susie's doing this right now, but I'll be with you just as soon as I finish that, because I didn't have the mental capacity to jump and switch between tasks. So that's something to think about as well. Also, keeping some clear space in your diary can be really wonderful to support you mentally. So making sure that you have the space, so you're not getting overwhelmed and kind of lead into burnout that way. Social rest. So we all experienced, I guess, some social rest probably when COVID hit. And then I know a lot of people struggled when things started to open up again. People began to feel overwhelmed. And, that's something that's quite common over the festive period as well. But checking in with yourself, some people get energized by being around people socially, some people don't. And it's important to check in with what's right for you. So, are you the social butterfly and you're saying yes to going to all these different things and leaving little time for yourself? Are you running your kids to all these different activities and, doing this, and this? So check in with yourself with regards to social committing. It could just be even, over committing to friends, and, being there for so many different people. And maybe you need to just check in with that and pull back so that you can kind of recalibrate, have some time for yourself, and create some self-care and some me time. And I am a big fan of self-care and me time. I am so fortunate, I guess, that I can create my working days, create my own days the way that I want to. And I very much, my day is filled with moments of self-care, because I know, having experienced this transformation from last year, how important it is for me to reset, especially when you're dealing with really big things. So yeah, checking in with that. One thing I'm going to throw in, actually, I was going to record this podcast, and I'm just thinking it must have been a week and a half ago, because I just finished a hypnotherapy session. And my hypnotherapist, the lovely Jade Gordon, at Sona Mum, does a check-in with me at the end of each session. And one of the check-ins is about achievement. And, she's like, how do you feel about achievement this week? And I was like, oh, I haven't done much. I've really just been relaxing and doing stuff and da 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 da. And she said to me, Susie, honoring your rest is an achievement. And I'm like, oh gosh, I know these things. I know these things. Why am I saying I haven't, achieved? But honoring rest is an achievement. So I just wanted to throw that in there whilst that came into my mind. So have a little check in with that. Okay, spiritual rest. Now, this is something I shared a post about recently as well, about meaning and purpose, and I got quite a few messages around that. You know, spiritual rest can be things such as prayer, can be things such as meditation, but also just ensuring that you're living a life that feels meaningful and purposeful, or that there are moments that you can do that. Not everybody's job life allows you to be like that all the time, but maybe this rest, and this I'm saying rest can be active. Maybe that looks like volunteering. So maybe you volunteer in something that means a lot to you, connecting with your higher purpose, connecting with faith, connecting with the universe, having little spiritual practices. So yesterday I did a little mini new moon practice, and my spiritual rest for me involves me every single morning doing my meditation, doing my prayer, setting my intentions for the day, connecting with God, connecting with angels, connecting with my guides, the universe, nature, and that for me fuels me. Yeah, so rest is there to fuel you as well. And I will share all of this. I've written all this up in a blog, so I'll share the blog in the show notes so you can go back and have a little reflect. You maybe print it off and, check in where you are with each one. And the next one is sensory rest. Now, oh my goodness, I had never recognized how much I needed sensory rest until last year, to the point my nervous system could not cope with noise, movement, sound, light. I couldn't be online for any length of time. I couldn't watch television. I couldn't listen to the radio. And yeah, I didn't realize how overwhelmed my system was. My neighbor has been getting an extension for feels like about 2 years. I think it is actually 2 years. And that had got to the point, the sound of the workmen, I'd started to wear noise cancelling headphones that a friend had given me a shot of. It was just so much. And I'm still really aware of that, quite jumpy with noises and things. My senses that are really heightened. So for me, it really is important to step back. And nowadays, everybody needs sensory rest, or teens or children especially, opportunities to, and this is again, connect with nature, allow yourself to switch off from screens, from constant noise around you, Zoom calls, harsh lighting, just getting away from your phone, those kind of things. So allow yourself moments. Maybe it's just 10 minutes as you lie in the bath or have a shower, and you're just really conscious of that as well. Like, breathe, allow yourself to enjoy that space of silence and space for yourself. Okay, emotional rest. Now, I think we can all recognize when we need emotional rest. If you're flipping out, losing your shit, crying, you can feel emotional rest, the necessity for emotional rest begin to build. So ways to support yourself with emotional rest, maybe having a chat with a therapist or even a close friend. I find journaling really, really helpful for processing the emotional side of things. Just any way that you can allow this to come up, somatic movement, dance, just singing, it can be really, really helpful. Any way that's going to give you a bit of a release. Allow those emotions to come up in a really safe, supported way. So maybe picking a friend and checking in, is it okay if I share this with you? So that you're not carrying it on your own. Things such as women's circles, if you're a woman, or men's circles, if you're a man, where you can connect in and just really share what's going on for you. So I think that that's really, really important. Having someone to talk things through can be really, really helpful there. Okay, creative rest. Now, you might be thinking, I am not creative. I have zero creativity. But actually, creative rest is more than that. So creative rest, like when you need creative rest, it's maybe that you're struggling to see the beauty of things around you. So you no longer think, oh, like I'm sitting here just now and I've got some gorgeous flowers on my table that I bought for Chinese New Year. And just you might just walk past things. You're no longer thinking, oh, what a beautiful sunrise. You're no longer seeing the magic that surrounds you in the world, that childlike magic often. So thinking about ways to connect back with that, again, journaling, writing is a wonderful way, maybe having a little bit of a gratitude practice, taking a nice nature walk, a nice mindful walk, looking at the sunrises, looking at the sunsets, taking yourself outside if it's dark at night, gazing up at the stars, singing, baking, getting lost in a good book. So I've got a lovely fiction book. I've only got about 4 pages left. So, losing your mind in a creative way. You don't have to be an artist. You don't have to be a singer. You could just be sitting daydreaming, doodling, whatever works for you. We all require us to have some form of creative outlet, even if we don't think it. We need to utilize that creative part of our brain. So hopefully you can begin to recognize as you go into this year, maybe set you up for the year nicely, preventing yourself from burnout, that rest covers so many different things and prevention is so much better than cure. Please do not, allow yourself to reach that point of burnout. If you are at that point of burnout, maybe you can use these tools to just check in and maybe write in your diary for the start of each week, each one of those 7 forms of rest, and check in and think, oh, actually, yeah, this week I need to honor creative rest. So I'm just going to run through the 7 types of rest for you again: physical rest, mental rest, social rest, spiritual rest, sensory rest, emotional rest, and creative rest. So yeah, I really hope that helps you. What I would like to say before I jump off is thank you very much for listening. I appreciate you being here. If you enjoy the episodes, please, 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 can you rate them and share them with your friends? I laugh when I listen to all these like really fancy podcasts now, and they're like directed by such and such, edited by such and such, and sponsors. If you're listening to a podcast by someone that has just created it, we record them ourselves, we edit them ourselves, we have zero sponsorship. And we do this because we love sharing and love empowering. So if you do find a podcast that you love, please do share it on your social media, share it with your friends, because it really makes such a difference to those of us that create them ourselves and put them out there ourselves. So I would love to hear from you. Let me know on social media or in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube. Were you aware of these types of rest? Is there one that's standing out to you just now where you're like, oh yes, I so need to do that? Let me know. The cough has made it through. Woohoo! If you would like to, currently what I have going on is I have my Be Free book club, which is a free book club. We're working through my book, Be Free, which is all about overcoming anxiety, stress, and low mood. And we're on week 2 this week. So we're doing random acts of kindness and gratitude and protecting our energy. Last week, we were working with affirmations and tapping. So we do various activities every week. We have a private Facebook group, a Zoom once a week. You can come to the Zoom if you want to. You don't have to. The replays saved in our private Facebook group. So if that's something you're interested in, just simply drop me an email. I'll pop my email in the show notes as well, or connect with me on social media. You can join us anytime. You don't have to have been there since the start. So yeah, it's a nice little free thing to get started with this year, build up some positive practices and habits. So happy New Year, my loves. I will be back next week. Next week, my intention is to share about control and anxiety and overwhelm and why control can be a good thing and a bad thing. So hop back next week and I will share that then. I'm sending you so much love. Have a beautiful day. Loads of love from my heart to yours. Namaste.